And fast-moving they really are. In January last year, McKinsey wrote that 49% of all activities people are paid for could be automated by currently demonstrated technology. Not technology from the future, technology that is available today. The RICS reported that 88% of the core tasks performed by surveyors could be automated over a 10-year period. So what is happening? What is going on to generate all this change? Well, the answer starts here. This is Moore's law, where essentially computing power doubles every 2 years, something which has held true for 50 years so far. So you have 100,000 transistors on a chip in 1980, 100 million by 2000, and 10 billion by 2016. This is the archetypal example of exponential growth that we hear so much about. But compared to the chips that originated in gaming machines, but that are now the primary processing units behind AI, this Moore's law growth is rather paltry. Moore's law is those two anemic lines at the bottom. The power of GPUs has been increasing dramatically faster over the last few years, which is why neural network training, which is fundamental to machine learning, became 60 times faster in the 3 years from 2013 to 2016, with most of that growth in one wonder year, 2015. So what does this lead to? Well, for one thing, it means computer vision, the face recognition, etc., has been going from useless to a utility in just a few years. With error rates of 28% in 2010, it was a pretty useless technology. By 2017, the error rate was down to 2.2%, which is far better than the 5%, which is how humans perform. And unlike humans, who can only process a few images at a time, computer vision enables 200,000 faces to be recognized in real time. Likewise, speech recognition has gone from useless to utility. In fact, it has done so considerably faster than computer vision. In 2013, we saw word error rates of 23%. Just 4 years later, this was below 5%. Again, the human level of achievement. Which is why we have seen all of a sudden, which is why we have seen all of a sudden the rise of smart speakers like Alexa and the growing use of voice as a search interface. It is what happens when new technologies become utilities. So, all businesses can now exploit 6 technological capabilities made possible by the growing power of AI. Many more processes can now be automated. We can understand what is happening in pictures and videos. And we can optimize complex systems in a manner that was not possible before. We can automatically generate voice and textual content. And we can automatically understand people using language and make predictions. Which is why, within the real estate industry, we have mapped these new capabilities as applying across 17 areas or workflows. Much of the day-to-day requirements of the industry can be improved by AI. From investment strategy to asset monitoring, to customer experience, to demand optimization, the possibilities are almost endless. But with AI, there is a catch. Unlike previous technologies, where often the best policy was to let early adopters make all the mistakes and lose a lot of money, with AI, you cannot be a fast follower and ride the coattails of innovators. You have to be the innovator. Because AI is all about data and the training of systems. Machine learning means just that. The machines learn from experience. And that is a step you cannot buy your way around. So experience matters in AI, and the rewards will go to those who have learnt the most. So, what to do about all this? How do we apply these powers to real estate? Well, across real estate, there are a number of key things we all have to do. But really, everything boils down to making predictions. and AI is dramatically reducing the cost of prediction. Who will buy? Who will sell? What happens if this? What happens if that? What are the chances of? Etc., etc. And with better and cheaper predictions, the amount of uncertainty we have to deal with reduces. And less uncertainty is a great enabler. We can take more risks at less risk. Here are 9 key use case areas for AI in real estate. Computer vision is a powerful weapon. Being able to point a camera at the built environment and to understand what is being seen is a superpower. But people also like interacting with images. They are comfortable with images. Real estate search using images rather than text will become a big thing. The Internet of Things and smart buildings and smart cities are going to allow us to optimize the space around us in unprecedented ways. We're going to be able to optimize our workplaces so at last they allow us to be as productive as we can be. All around the world, there are now thousands upon thousands of small, low-altitude satellites, and these are allowing us to monitor, inspect, and analyze the world in great detail. We can merge satellite and aerial imagery with other data sets to aid our understanding, from daily monitoring of development sites to checking the car parks are full at shopping centres. There is an awful lot you can do when you can analyze imagery. AI is extremely useful in synthesizing disparate data sources and finding correlations and causations between them. Automated valuation models will become more and more accurate. And a side note on that, as we have said, AI can be a winner-takes-all technology. As with web search, we probably only need one great automated valuation model in each asset class. Chatbots are a key AI tool. For anything deeply structured, allowing people to text for help or assistance makes a lot of sense. We'll see a lot of chatbots in property management and customer support. Location, location, location is, of course, a real estate mantra, but historically, we have not really known that much about any given location. AI will allow us to become far better informed about the precise characteristics of locations and the wants and needs of the people who live, work, or shop there. Voice as a search interface is now becoming commonplace with the likes of Alexa. Expect to see a lot more people talking to computers than tapping away at keyboards. Natural language processing is all about understanding text, and once that becomes a solved problem, all manner of interactions we currently have with text will be changed. So expect to see a rapid decline in human input into report creation, for example. Certainly in a business context, most reports can be boiled down to a templated format and auto-generated by linking in various data sources. And finally, marketing. Marketing is probably the #1 use case for AI across all businesses. Marketing is all about knowing your customer, and AI in various ways is going to enable us to be much, much better at that. Real estate has a lot to learn here. Those who bother to learn will reap great advantages. So, that's 9 areas where you will find solid use cases for AI in real estate. Here are 70 companies already ready to help you out. Camera time. Okay, so all of this is very exciting, but how do you ensure that you remain on the right side of this change and don't lose your job to an AI? Well, first off, you have to remember that Picasso, of course, was right. Computers are useless. They can only give us answers. We are here to put the questions. This is Garry Kasparov, the great chess master, and also the first world champion to lose to a computer, in his case, IBM's Deep Blue in 1996. Since that day, it was clear that humans would no longer beat computers at chess. So Garry started a new form of chess called advanced chess. In this, a human, sometimes a pair, plus a computer, would take on another computer, plus a human or a pair. Now, what transpired was remarkable. First off, a human plus a computer always beat the computer on its own. But the team who managed the relationship between the humans and the computer, regardless of strength, mostly came out on top. So as Gary says, a weak human plus a machine plus a better process was superior to a strong computer alone. And, more remarkable, superior to a strong human and a machine and an inferior process. This is really important. Understanding how to best leverage the different skill sets of humans and machines is really a killer skill. This was Steve Jobs at the launch of the iPad 2 in March 2011 and shows his famous mantra of technology and the liberal arts. It is in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. It is technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the results that makes our heart sing. So we have 4 steps to ensure that your job is not taken by an AI. Step number 1, do not stay in a job that is structured, repeatable, or predictable. This is from the Jack Lemmon film The Apartment in 1960. And in those days, offices were essentially Excel. Every desk was like a cell in a spreadsheet where someone was doing something structured, repeatable, or predictable. If your job is anything like that, start planning your exit. And of course, if your office is even remotely like this, get the hell out of there. Step number 2, you need to learn how to think about AI. You need to understand what AI is good for and what it is not good for. Understanding where it can be applied is absolutely foundational and will avoid wasting a lot of time. You need to look for those use cases, the 88% of core activities that McKinsey wrote about from the RISIS report and the 49% that McKinsey referenced. Amongst those, you need to consider which ones are commonplace and repeatable within your business and/or applicable to many of your customers. Then you need to think about what data you would need to feed your AI initiatives and whether or not you either have it or you can access it. You need to consider whether there are clear metrics by which you could judge success. Is success measurable? And then finally, if you have all of the above, is this something that can create significant value? If you get to the end of this with all the right answers, then you have a product or service worth pursuing. And if you're looking to build an AI solution for customers, then your product or service absolutely must abide by these rules. Step number 3. Thirdly, in a world of exponential technology, you need to become exponentially human. You need to develop all your human skills: imagination, empathy, design, social intelligence, problem solving, judgment, because that is your value. Do not try and beat the machines at what they are good at. Do not bring a knife to a gunfight. Instead, work on how, with your understanding of AI, you can use it to augment your human skills. Now, as prediction becomes cheaper, the value of judgment will increase. All of this technology is an input. We are responsible for deciding the output we desire. Those with great judgment who can weigh up upsides and downsides of predictions will see their value rise. AI is going to give us more options. How we exploit them is down to human judgment. And think education, education, education. In a fast-changing world, education is a marathon, an ongoing process. You will never run out of new skills to learn. And then finally, you need to deeply consider how AI, data, and all technological change is going to change the world. Because there will be winners and there will be losers. Oftentimes, each of us are going to be both. We will lose some things and we will gain other things. Now, mostly, it is tasks that will be lost rather than entire jobs. But there will certainly be many jobs that do become redundant. There will also be a lot of real estate that becomes redundant. As the work we do changes, the nature of the office is going to change fundamentally. Where and how we live as well. And as for retail, that's almost completely up in the air. But if you pay attention to those 4 rules, your job will not be overtaken by AI. In fact, you are most likely to thrive in an AI world. But either way, remember, this is still business, and some things don't change. So the point is, the bear is coming, but you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than your peers. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Antony. As always, I just want to pick up on one statement actually that Antony made in there, because I think it's really critical. Is that around the value of judgment? I think Antony stressed that point quite valid. I think that for me, as AI takes over, as you rightly said, Antony, is going to be critical in terms of our judgment on what we're presented with, because we're not going to be able to outcompete analytics that can be running through AIs. I mean, there's just no way that we can do it now, let alone in the future. And another thing that we talk about a lot with AI is empathy. And I think, just to give you a bit of a sort of a personal story from my side, every Sunday now with my 2 sons, we have what I call Robot Club. We have an hour of just building robots and understanding how machines work, simply on the basis that they're going to have as much empathy with humans as they're going to have with robotic machines and AI. So there's a really key message there about judgment and empathy, about how we integrate in the future as our jobs and as our careers, as much as our personal development around working with machines. So please, once again, if you thank Antony for a great speech.